Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today was a pretty good day in my opinion. If you understood the 30-minute context and the larger context overall, but if you also watched my yesterday's video, I was prepared for today. Exactly what happened today was what I said yesterday, right? We were in this white, right? Yesterday in the chop, right? And then we had this perfect bounce up. Just like I was telling you guys in yesterday's video that we need to basically grab liquidity, basically um, off of red, right? We would have to have a bounce at red, basically a cup, then a handle, right? Um, but overall, in the bigger context as well, right? This was a cup and a handle, right? Um, and pretty good trade if you understood that, right? And then if you understood that we were in the yellow overall, right? And the top of yellow would be resistance, right? Um, and you entered in the trade while managing that risk to reward, and you knew how to manage the trade based on the bounce from the red and then the orange as well, right? Using the orange as some sort of support as well, right? Um, and then after we built enough liquidity, the market finally decided to have the strong buying green, right? Which didn't really activate. So if we wanted to see the break of yellow, we would have seen the green being still activated, right? But we broke out of the strong green buying, right? So that was a sign of a rejection from here, right? And the market would have either dumped or wanted to build more liquidity right here, right? And then we did get this final push out today, but the market ran out of time, right? So we do have to see what happens tomorrow, right? But if we do want to break out of this, for example, this yellow, right? We need to see the activation of this strong green, right, over here, right? Um, and we need to see that push up with that strong green, right? And then grab liquidity off of 50-day, the yellow, right? And then form a cup. Like the same thing that happened here is gonna happen here, right? Build that liquidity right here, build that liquidity right here, and then the strong buying, right? So that's usually how it's gonna go. If we do break out of the yellow, but if we don't break out of the yellow, we're gonna see this rejection, right? Um, and then it's setting up pretty nicely, right? Left shoulder liquidity here, right? And then right shoulder liquidity right here, right? And then um, close of an inverse cup right here, right? Um, grab liquidity here, right? And then so many areas to grab liquidity. Drop here, right? Grab liquidity here off of orange, right? Have some sort of microstructure, and then possibly close this inverse cup here. Depends on how strong the market is, right? How the move down is, right? But I'm just giving you every scenario where we could possibly grab liquidity, right? Grab liquidity off of red, right? And then close this inverse cup at this level right here, right? And then start grabbing liquidity right here, right? Off of orange, and then close that bigger inverse cup at this level. I know there's so many levels, trust me, I get it. But it is a long way down, so don't even worry about shorting it right now, right? It's all about coming to you. Um, there's so many opportunities. That's why I wanted to show you all those setups, right? Because it will come to you, right? But again, if we are headed up, same thing is going to happen, right? You could see that we're in this white, right? Um, we're gonna keep building that liquidity. See tomorrow. Basically, what we have to see tomorrow is if we do chop and build more liquidity, right? That could be a possibility, and then head more up, right? Um, but yeah, or if we just straight open up higher, right? Or open up here, right? We can open up um, in this levels tomorrow, right? So see what happens tomorrow. If we are headed up, but it's gonna be the same algos, right? Um, the yellow is still gonna be the resistance for the whole week, right? Or tomorrow. Um, Manage that risk to reward well, right? You don't want to really enter trades that are super close to the resistance, right? Wait for the market to build the liquidity, then you can have a bigger move up, right? with this strong green buying algo, right? So same thing, right? It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I'm gonna show you intraday now and how you could have done this, right? So again, this was the handle, right? After the cup closed all the high, right? Um, and then in the 30-minute, basically you're gonna see this as the red, right? Um, not You're gonna see this as white, but the red would have been right here like that. So oh yeah, like teal, right? I could just show you like this because all my colors are kind of switched up, so I kind of am confusing you guys. But the teal here is gonna be red on here, right? Um, but yeah, so off of blue, you see how we're tapering around blue, right? Bounced off of red, teal, right? Um, perfect. If you understood that market context, that was perfect, right? And then inverse head and shoulder microstructure right here, and then the strong green buying, right? And how you normally will manage this position is with this pink, usually the pink, right? Sometimes we will dig deeper, right? To grab liquidity, but we didn't here, so I would definitely protect some here, and then have some sort of blue here, right? And see how deep we do retrace down if we do, right? um, but it shouldn't break. For example, if it broke below the blue here, if we did, right, then you would have exited out the position, right? um, but yeah, it was supported. We perfectly bounced off the pink. um, every time, right? Every time we tested pink, we bounced off, we bounced off, we bounced off, we bounced off here as well. And then this was also another great opportunity because this was an inverse head and shoulder, left shoulder, head, right shoulder right here. In the right shoulder, there's a microstructure of an inverse head and shoulder. And that was the second green algo, that the strong green that activated, right? Um, Now then you just have to we tested the 20-day moving average, right? The market wanted to build more liquidity. That's totally fine, right? We actually that actually better, right? But here you could have entered through the purple, right? This break right here of an inverse head and shoulder. Again, I'm gonna show you right here: left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Pretty good entry. And then blue, we didn't see a microstructure, so I didn't really get to add on, but we were still brought up in this green, strong green buying, right? You can see that, right? So that's the third time. But see now, the yellow is up top, right? So we are seeing the yellow up here, right? Um, and at this level is the same level that is right here, right? So you notice that we are at that strong resistance, that's where you have to protect, right? Especially because if we come off of the strong green, right? See how we are brought up by the strong green. If we are still not in that strong green, that's bear sign, right? And that's a rejection sign as well, right? Because if we wanted to break out of the yellow, we would have had to stay in that strong green buying, right? And then the market is chopping, so we have to see what the market does, right? So we could have either also taking a long right here is kind of risky because you have the small risk to reward. So I wasn't really looking for longs there either way. um, I did find the short scalp right here, right? Pretty good. This doubled my money. And by the way, this move was a 3-point move. Okay, so this was a very good move up, by the way. And then this was a pretty good move scalp right here. And you couldn't have caught it at yellow because the candle was too big. But off of orange, what happened was there was a double top, right? And again, you're understanding market context. You have to understand the market has to build more liquidity, and sometimes there will be drops like this for the market to build that liquidity, right? And it formed that inverse head and shoulder right here on that large scale, right? And then basically the market ran out of runway today and time, right? Either way, I wanted to see more of a chop and better risk towards, right? Before I even took a position. But yeah, so I wasn't really looking for longs as of yet. I want to see more of a chop liquidity build tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll take more of a safer long position because right now um, it, the potential is super. It can at most it's a 1 point move up, right? And it's not really worth it for me. I want to see what the market build more liquidity, so then we can have this big, almost like 3 point move up, right? Or if the market did move up here, right? we will always grab the liquidity off of yellow, right? So we're gonna have a cup at this 50-day, right? And then some sort of handle, right? And you could take it up like that, right? And then red is gonna be obviously major resistance up here, as well as orange, right? So you want to see the market build more liquidity so we can have higher move ups, right? Um, this orange right here, right? So this orange is gonna be critical, um, critical resistance right here, right? So you have to look out for that. Um, but yeah, so look out for that tomorrow and go for that safer risk to reward trades. Like you don't have to rush anything. Today was a pretty easy day, just because if you understood the complex, like not the complex algos, but like if you understood the algos, right, the handle algos, right, and then the push up with the strong green, right, then we build liquidity, and the strong green that we didn't have enough time to activate, right. But see tomorrow, um, then we can keep building liquidity, right, strong green, right, keep building liquidity, strong green. So it's gonna be the same algos over and over again, the white, the green, right. And I don't know why, but I didn't have the green algo. It's okay, I don't really need it. But I want to show it to you in the video purpose, right. So the strong green right here, this is what I'm talking about, right. So you want to see that all the time, right. Right here you want to see that, right. um, right, so you want to see the push up by the strong green, right. So anyways, see you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys understood the market context. I hope you guys applied yesterday's lessons to today, because it was kind of the same, right. You just had to understand the market context, the 30-minute context, right. And where we're at, right, and the chop, and why we needed the chop, why we need the liquidity to build. I told you guys yesterday that it would have been a big move, right, this, because we built that liquidity, right. And if you watch yesterday's video, I spoke about this exact move that's going to happen off of red, right. But yeah, see you guys tomorrow.